Good morning, New Beginnings. It's me, Pastor Danish House. Today is Friday, October 21st, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me for this daily update and devotional video. I'm glad you decided to make me part of your life today, and I'm delighted that you are part of my life as well. As you're praying today, remember Kurt and Sally Whitson, who are on the trip to Chile. They're down at the House of Hope Orphanage in La Ventana, Chile. Keep them in your prayers. They'll be there for a few more days still. Today's Friday at 9 a.m. There's a prayer meeting here at the church and on Zoom. Tomorrow, Saturday, there are no events scheduled, but on Sunday, we have our church history class at 9 a.m., our morning service at 10 a.m., and I don't believe there's deeper in the evening. We've shifted that to our young adults fellowships. Actually, young adult fellowship is probably tonight. I don't have a time on that. If you're a young adult, you probably know already. Talking this week about some of the topics that didn't get voted for the Ask Me Anything series. And that included this week a look at Melchizedek, and then now at some spiritual disciplines. We talked on Wednesday about the spiritual discipline of fasting. We talked yesterday about patience. And today I want to talk about silence. Silence. The question that the person asked about silence was, what's the scriptural basis for quiet contemplation and silence for Christians? How can we as a church body and as individuals learn to incorporate silence in worship and as a personal discipline? Silence is actually quite important in Scripture, and we want to hit on a couple of passages. They're both from the Psalms. First, Psalm 62:1. For God alone my soul waits in silence. From him comes my salvation. And then again in Psalm 46:10 is a command. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I'll be exalted in the earth. There's many, many more. I just picked those two as good examples out of the book of Psalms. Psalms is designed to be an example of what it's like to worship God. Psalms provides an example of what it means to worship God, and we can use the Psalms in our prayers and in our worship, but also we can look at the Psalms and say, okay, well, how does the psalmist believe worship of God ought to go? And one component of worship of God is silence. Why is silence a part of the worship of God? I think two reasons. Two reasons that I've been able to think of. One is that silence is about waiting, right? Remember what it said up in that first verse, right? For God alone, my soul waits in silence. From him comes my salvation. Silence is about waiting for God to do what God is going to do. Christianity, the Christian faith, is not about what we are able to do in order to reach God, right? Christianity is about God reaching out to us, and we receive what he offers. Christianity is not about striving. It's not about struggle to please God. Christianity is about listening to God and letting God do the work. God is the active partner in Christian salvation and discipleship. So silence is part of how we learn how to sort of listen and wait for God to do what God is going to do. And I said that there's two reasons. The second is sort of the another edge of that is that silence demonstrates that we believe that God is real, right? When you're waiting for God to do something, to speak to you or to answer prayer, when you're waiting for God to intervene in your life, that is an explicit statement of trust, right? It's when we're nervous, it's when we're freaking out that we have to fill every minute with stuff, with our own stuff, right? That we have to be the ones talking. We have to be the ones who are engaged, in spiritual activity, because we're freaking out about our responsibility to do things. Well, waiting, silence, taking time to just be quiet with God is a demonstration. It's an exercise of trust in a God who is real and who we believe will take action. Um, so that's one reason why silence is so important. The psalmist says, "Be still and know that I am God." God's command. In some ways, um, our lack of silence demonstrates that we don't know that He's God, right? Uh, we don't know that He's actually going to come through. We don't know that He's actually active and alive, and so we feel like we have to fill the space with our words. We talk here. We in our church we use the um, hmm, emotionally healthy spirituality course to help us to grow in our maturity as Christians. And that's a course that teaches taking some time every day to be silent. And some Christians are not happy with that idea. Some Christians see that as kind of a mystical thing, and mysticism is something that they want to avoid. I don't see it as mysticism. I see it as trust and belief in a God who is there, and I see it as a cessation of our activity as part of our trust in God that He will be active and He will work. So, when the question asks, how can we learn to incorporate silence in worship and as a personal discipline? The personal discipline part is what I've been talking about so far, taking the time quietly to be with the Lord every day, taking the time to listen. Yes, pray. Yes, make your requests known to God. Yes, read the scriptures, but also take some time to be quiet before Him. It is among the hardest things to do, is just to take time to be quiet before the Lord, but it has great reward to it. How do we do that corporately? That's a very interesting question, and I feel like we have at times incorporated silence into our corporate worship. Um, it's challenging, and it's challenging in my faith, because I'll tell you, as a pastor, I know that folks are concerned about. Some folks are concerned about the length of the service, and taking some minutes to be in silence feels like um, there's so many things we have to get done in the service. It's challenging to have the faith to just take some time to be quiet. What if we're quiet and the service runs over? Um, if there's this feeling like you need to get to the next thing, get to the next thing, get to the next thing. And part of it also is that in our culture we have very short attention spans, and one of the concerns that I have as I'm planning a service is, how do I keep people active and engaged and involved? But the truth is, and I hear the intent on this question, I think the truth is that I need to have more faith as a pastor. I need to have more faith and more trust that God is worth waiting for, right? That it's not our frenzied activity on a Sunday morning that makes for a good service, but it's the presence of God and the action of God in our service. I hear this question, and I'm convicted. I feel like I want to spend some time every service in quietness, in silence, and waiting for the Lord. I'm terrified. I'm terrified because, not because I don't think God will show up, but I'm terrified because uh, I'm so used to sort of keep trying to run a tight ship and get things done on time. Maybe I need to hear that. Maybe you need to hear that as well. Maybe in your life, that's what you need to hear. That you're trying and trying and trying to run a tight ship, and to use the time well. Trust me when I say that silence is a good use of time as well. Silence before the Lord. It's giving me something to think about. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for your love for us. Thank you that in your love for us, you do not call us to frenzied activity, that our salvation does not depend on us or what we can do, but our salvation depends on you and the reality of your work in our lives. God, I pray that you'd help us to take time in silence to be with you and to let you fill the silence rather than feeling like we have to fill the silence. Help me as a pastor, as I'm leading this church, our church service. Help me as an individual Christian to take that time in silence before you. And I pray for everybody in the sound of my voice to do the same. Give us the help to have patience, to be quiet before you. And Lord, I know that when we seek you with all our heart, that you'll be found by us. So I pray for that in Jesus' name. Lord, I lift up today's prayer meeting. I lift up tonight's young adults meeting. I pray for the church history class Sunday morning, the morning service as well. Lord, please bless the work of our hands. Bless our worship of you. Lord, it's all for nothing unless you are involved. And so help us to wait on you. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, our topic on Sunday is going to be, how do we know that the Bible texts we have are accurate to God's message? That'll be my sermon on Sunday. Looking forward to that. It's a very exciting topic. I enjoy this one quite a bit. Thanks so much for joining me for this daily update and devotional video. I love you, New Beginnings. I look forward to talking to you again on Monday.